Hello, I'm Helen Hamilton from Kingsport Public Library in downtown Kingsport. We're going to have a tour today of the Palmer Room, which is the local history and genealogy room of the library. We have many, many treasures here, and I'd like you to know about the resources that we have. First, I'd like to introduce you to my friend, Colonel E.W. Palmer. Many of you have probably heard of him. He was the CEO at Kingsport Press, very prominent figure in Kingsport. We honored him with this room because he was on one of the first boards of the library. He was very essential in helping to plan the library, and I'm sure he gave money to the library. So we are very grateful for all his contributions. This particular bust of him was done by Edgar Bolin, sculptor and artist, and he is well known all around the country. He's done some statues in Washington, D.C., but he was from here in Kingsport. And some of you may remember the full-size statue of Andrew Johnson that was in one of the banks downtown. He did that too. We also have a portrait of him. It's a very large portrait that his grandson came by one day and said, "We're trying to clear out things. Would you like to have this portrait?" And I said, "Yes, I would." So we're very happy to have that. First, I'd like to show you the welcoming center of the Palmer Room. Here we have brochures about different things that you can find here or other resources we have in the area. And you can pick up any of these brochures and use them. Any kind of announcements of special programs that we're having, or for instance, the Sullivan County Genealogy Society will be posted here. This is the card catalog. Some of you that are old enough remember such things. Everything's on computer now, but we have in this department kept the card catalog. It's not been updated since the early 90s, but a lot of people, when they come in, they just want to look and see the books that we have. Many things have been added since then, but it gives them a start. And some of them are just used to using it, so I haven't gotten rid of it yet. Also in this file, I'll show you later, a large map file. And we have the catalog for those maps. We have the geological maps. Two of our most useful things are these two books here. This is for Tennessee, this is for Virginia. And the collection is listed by county. And if you're looking for something from Anderson County, you can look in here under Anderson County and see what we have that pertains to Anderson County, whether it's genealogical or history or whatever. This is for Virginia. Those are the only two states that we have broken down like this, but they're the most local for us. Over here is the Sullivan County Cemetery Project. This was done in about 1976 to 82. People went out and took down what was on tombstones in the various cemeteries. And so this is used a lot. People looking for their ancestors' graveyard, and if they find it here, it tells where they were buried and whatever was on the tombstone. This is an index to that. One thing that we have used a lot is an obituary index, and it goes from 1990 to, actually 1987, I'm sorry, to 1990. Edward Elam, who worked at Eastman, retired, and he wanted to give his expertise to us, and so he laboriously went through the newspapers on film, printed out all the obituaries, and put them in order of what alphabetical order, and then it tells what the date was that appeared and what page it was on. And for those years, this is a wonderful, wonderful index. We never could find anybody to complete it, so if anybody's interested in that, we'd be welcoming them. Since 90, or actually yeah, Cincinnati, the Times News has their own archives of obituaries, and so that helps us. Actually, 97, I think, is when they started. Over here is our dedicated computer. It's online, and it's used for genealogy. Also, I proctor exams for people here, and we use that if it's a exam that needs to be online. But the things that are available here within the library, they can use Ancestry.com, and this has images, indexes, Social Security death index, draft registration cards, slave narratives, all sorts of things that people can look up when they're searching their genealogy. The license we have is only for use in the library, so people have to come here to use it. However, we have another one that does have census records, and that's Heritage Quest. And all they have to do is, if they have a library card, which by the way is free and open to the public, there's no charge even if you live outside the city, even if you live in Southwest Virginia, you can get that card. And with that, you can get online at our website and look up anything, any of our resources, online resources, and we have a lot of them. It'd be worth your while to investigate that, and you can call us and ask us about it. You can see that this one's being used right now. This bookcase has biographies, historical biographies of the area. A little boy came in the other day and said, "What is the oldest book you have?" And I said, "I don't know, but I'd say it's in this file, this bookcase right here." This is a very old book, 1833 it was published. I think we have some older than that, but this is about Andrew Jackson. And he was just fascinated that we had something that old. One of the books that's the most popular here is about Kenny Wagner, the notorious criminal from the area. And people somehow get interested in him and like to come in and see the book about him. This section of the library contains our microfilm. We have Census Records, and we have the Kingsport Times News. The films look like this, and they can be read by machines like this one. Also, we can print copies off of all of these three machines. So if you find a clipping that you want or an obituary and you want a copy of it, you can make a print of it. This one we got specially for use for handicapped people. You can fit a wheelchair up to it. We have a foot pedal that you can use if that would help. For people with bifocals or trifocals like I have, the slanted screen is easier for them. The other two, it's a straight up screen. The slanted screen is easier, and this one shows a larger page, larger print. It's a little harder to load, but it's very, very helpful to people. We got a grant for this machine, handicap and aging grant, but everybody uses it. The two other machines are available, and most people prefer those because they're just a little easier to handle, but it's just whatever your need is, we can help you with that. These we are happy to show people how to use, and they can sit here to their heart's content looking through old newspapers. The first one we have is May 11, 1916. And we're kind of spotty in those first years, but by the time we get to about 1921, it's steady all the way through the years up till we're usually about a month or two back. We keep the newspapers downstairs until we get the film, and then we have them up here for people to use. This is very much used, one of our most popular things. And even children come in here and look up old newspapers or look up the day they were born, scout groups come in. So it's very, very helpful. Our files of microfilm are in this area. Starts over here with the earliest newspapers. Our latest ones are down at the bottom of this second file. Over on the right-hand side, we have census records and other important documents for genealogy. The most recent census records we have are 1930. And that's not because we're far behind. That's because they are not released until 72 years after the date. And so 1930 is the last one that was released. They will be released again in 1940, when it's been 72 years. People do use these a lot. We do have some indexes and guides printed for some of these census records. The area, each genealogy library has concentration of about 100 miles around. We have more than that. We have much more than that. But what you're really concentrating is the 100-mile radius. So we have mostly Virginia and Tennessee, this particular area. Also, we have some from North Carolina and a few from Georgia. We also have some of the older court records, marriage records from Sullivan County. Some military records, and just various things of historical interest. One of the things that real genealogists like to have is called the Draper manuscripts. Very old manuscripts. I think they were about the same time period as Daniel Boone, and we do have some of those on film here. Another very popular area of the Palmer Room is the area that talks about Sullivan County, Kingsport, areas right close. And it happens, these are filed by number, but it so happens Sullivan County is going to end up right here. We have many, many books about Sullivan County. Some of them are picture books, some of them are just text, history. One of our most prolific writers for this area was Muriel Spoden, and we have several of her books, and hers, you can really count on them being accurate. She and her husband Hal really did their homework on their books, and he helped her with the maps and research. So this has been a real asset for us. So you come in and find out what we have. You'll be surprised. Now, these books in this area are not checked out. We might have a duplicate of it that can be, but these are considered reference books, and they cannot be checked out because we have people coming in that need to see them. We have people coming, driving all the way from Washington State or California or Texas to do research, and they have to be here in the building so that they're available for those people. Three of the very popular books are the Times News books that they put out recently, the Kingsport Volume 1 and 2 and the Soldier Stories. And that's one reason I don't have them shelved. I have them up on top because people come in and want to look at them and they can see where they are. Our vertical files are a very helpful area. We have clippings, information, letters, documents, all kinds of things about the various areas. What we have here is genealogy. See, people have given us files of the work they've done on their own family, and we have those in alphabetical order, and they put them here so that you can look in case they would help you in your research. Next to it is the Sullivan County, and we have all sorts of clippings and information from Sullivan County. And the categories are in alphabetical order, or we can always help you find what you need. The section at that side on the left is Kingsport, and of course that's our largest file. And we have many, many things of interest. In fact, our file on this before mentioned Kenny Wagner is there. And we have pictures of him and all sorts of things. Up on top, we keep the documents that the city sends us, like the budget and the Board of Mayor and Alderman agenda, things like that. And we always have the newest of those documents. The older ones then are sent down to the archives. Our archives keeps documents and pictures from a long, long time ago, and they keep adding to it as things happen. But we keep some of them up here because it's more accessible to the public. We're open all the time, and they have certain hours. But then as soon as a new one comes in, we send the old down to the archives. In this area of the library, we have a lot of things about Scott County, Virginia, other counties close by in Virginia. This is volume 4 of the Scott County, Virginia and its people. These are very popular documents. A lot of pictures in these, family histories, and they're very helpful and just of interest. People like to look at them, especially if they grew up there. Things like Omer Addington's History of Scott County. He puts out a book every once in a while. And back here, these are North Carolina records, and could go on and on about the various areas. While I'm here, I do want to mention our Civil War information. We have the huge collection of War of the Rebellion. It was given to us, we don't know where or what time, but they're the original documents, the original books, and they take up probably 10 shelves over here. And they have an index. People do use those. We have other Civil War books. We have a very good collection on Virginia, the various regiments, and they've put one out every so often, and we get them all. I wish Tennessee would do that because we would have a lot of requests for that. But if you are interested in our Civil War buff, this is a place to come because we have a lot of information. Over in the middle, we have the rosters, Civil War rosters of servicemen. We have one for the North and one for the South. And that's a lot of times the starting place to look up your relative and maybe what unit they were in. Then you can go from there to other books and try to find something more about them. But it's a very popular subject, as you might well know, and we do have a lot of resources here. In this section, we have genealogical magazines. We receive them each month, and then after the year's over, we have them bound so they'll be in good shape for people to use. We have Tennessee Historical Quarterly, Tennessee Ancestors, Genealogical Helper, just a host of magazines that are helpful for genealogy research, and some of them are just interesting to look at. While I'm here, I'd like to mention that on down the way, we have bound magazines, Life magazine, which are full of pictures, and I love looking at the ones during the Second World War. We have National Geographics from way back, and also on the other side, we have the Tennessee Eastman News bound. All the years they were putting it out in paper copy. So a lot of people like to come in and look at those. They see people they know and reminisce about maybe where they worked and what they did. This area contains our census records. These are the ones that people have transcribed or made indexes for them. We have several states. Of course, our biggest collection is from Tennessee. Our second biggest is from Virginia. We have North Carolina, quite a few. The first census was in 1790, and we have some for Scott County up until 1930, but we're limited by the fact that someone has to take those census records and transcribe them and publish them before we can have them. So if somebody hasn't done that, we don't have it. But people in Scott County apparently are very up to date on getting theirs out. We have also, next to the genealogy, the census records, books on how to do genealogy, how to look up your family tree. And one of the main books that people use for this is Everton's Handy Book for Genealogists. This is very, very helpful. It has each state listed, something about the state, a map of the state, the counties shown. It's broken down in each state by county, and it tells what the county seat is and when the county was formed and what county it was formed from. Right here we were part of Washington County, and then we became Sullivan County, and some of them have changed several times. So if you were doing research on a time before it became Sullivan, you would have to be looking in Washington County records. That's just an example of how you can use this book. We also have a lot of books that you can check out on how to do genealogy, and a lot of them are about the new online resources that are available. Now, these are some more files, but this one is about the whole state of Tennessee. And in those others that I showed you, if it wasn't about Kingsport or Sullivan County, we didn't have it. So if it's about Jonesboro or Memphis or whatever, they would be in this. And labor department files and just various things about the whole state. So they're helpful to people. Over here are these tapes. The mess at the bottom is environmental things, and people come in and look through that. Eastman sends their reports and the state, and it never can look very beautiful, but up above them are tapes, videotapes, that the Survivors Club has given us. Peggy Turner started that club several years ago, and it's people, I'm not sure what the age range is, but I know it's over 70, and they get together for a meeting once a month. They have refreshments or meet for a meal or something, and just talk about the old times and just get together and have fun with each other. I have visited, and I think they're having more fun than anybody in town. They have special programs. The one I visited was about the development of Ridgefield's golf course and club. It's just a fascinating group of people. I have heard the tapes for some of the older doctors, Dr. Reed, one of them, talking about medicine in early Kingsport, and it was just really fun. They're a nice group of people. I'm sure they would love to have people of their age come and join them. I hope you've enjoyed our little tour of the Palmer Room. I can't do it justice. We'd like for you to come in and see for yourselves. We'd be happy to have you and help you in any way we can. You can call us at 224-2539, 224-2539. If you just have general information, 229-9489. That is just the general number. The circulation number is 229-9465. We have brochures here about seniors, adults, children, and youth. You pick those up and find out what all services we have for your age group. Have a folder about the genealogy and archives resources. And our website is www.kingsportlibrary, all one word, lowercase, .org, O-R-G. www.kingsportlibrary.org. We'd love to hear from you.